Hi, this is Tom. I recently made a trip to Japan and to Tokyo, and I wanted to create a little video to give people a hint, which I couldn't find anywhere else, about a little beautiful trip actually that you can make in downtown Tokyo. Doesn't take much time. It's really simple, and I couldn't find anything about it anywhere in any of the guidebooks, so that's why I created this little video. What you're seeing here is a Google map of the larger Tokyo. On our left here we have Shinjuku Station, and this is Tokyo Station. Let me zoom in on that just a little bit because this is the walk that I took. So you might be able to see this line going here, around here into Tokyo Station. What I did was I took a train from the airport to Tokyo Station. In Tokyo Station, and in most of the stations in Japan, they'll actually have baggage lockers. So I locked up my baggage, and then I took a train, a commuter train, to the Shinjuku Station. And that's quite easy to do, and you can read about that, and you can see videos on the train system in Tokyo. It's phenomenal. So I won't get into that. But then what I did was I walked back to Tokyo Station. And as you can see here in the middle, it says 1 hour and 59 minutes for the walk, 9.7 kilometers. I took a lot longer than that because I made some side trips that I'll tell you about. You can also, of course, go on different days of the week. I went on a Saturday where it was very quiet downtown. But basically, the route takes you from Shinjuku Station to the Shinjuku Gyoen National Garden, where I spent about an hour walking around in there, and I'll show you a little bit more about that in a second. And then I walked in, this is called Shinjuku Dori, which is a main thoroughfare. I'll show you some pictures of this. This is the presidential compound, or the palace. What I did was I walked here. I walked about 3/4 of the way around the compound. There's some beautiful sights. You can't get inside, but you can take pictures of it from the outside. There's a moat around it, as you can sort of see here. There's a very nice bridge down here. So I went a little bit out of my way to see that, and then I doubled back, and then I came over to Tokyo Station. Let's do just before I get into the pictures, let me just do a quick little blow up here, show you. This is the Shinjuku Gyoen Garden. Very beautiful, great place to watch people. There's lakes, there's a little creek there, beautiful gardens. You can see there's very extensive paths going around this, play fields, and I could have just walked right by this. I'm glad I detoured. And then from there, like I say, I went in to this, let me back up here just a second, Shinjuku Dori, which is the main thoroughfare. If you get tired, by the way, this is also a major train thoroughfare, so you can always stop and take a train for part of this if you want. Like I say, I was there on a Saturday. It was pretty quiet, actually. I imagine if you go during the week, it's quite a mess. Shinjuku Station is reputed to be the busiest train station in the world, and I would imagine that Tokyo Station is right up there. So then, walking along, you can see it here on the map, Shinjuku Dori, this thoroughfare, takes you directly into, there's several stations along the way, directly into the presidential gardens and palace. And then there's this really nice thoroughfare that goes around it. A lot of beautiful buildings, both along the way, and back around this way. There's little bridges. There's some buildings here that you can get photos of. And I'll show you in a minute, but the Tokyo Station is quite a beautiful place. We'll tilt that view now just to get a sense of what you're really seeing and how this little walk can really give you a lot of downtown Tokyo. So the Shinjuku Station here, You can see these large buildings, big shopping center, department store. This is the Shinjuku Gyoen National Garden that you'll be going to. We take it over here to the east, and there is some other large buildings here just before you get to the park, or to the Emperor's Palace, I should say. And then you see that all of this area around it is surrounded by the architectural wonders of Tokyo. So this is a beautiful little trip. I'm surprised it's not described more. It's a flat walk. I'm not a young man, and I was able to do it quite easily. This is the exterior of the Shinjuku station. There's a shopping area around there, so there was quite a bit of people when I first got off. But about a block or two later, things thinned out quite a bit. It was a Saturday, and I guess not much happens in the business areas on Saturdays because it was quite quiet. About 2 blocks away from the station is the park, and there's it's quite an extensive park, as you saw on the map, with a lot of different kinds of areas. And even though this was a spring day and on a Saturday, there weren't a lot of people there. There was quite a bit of room to move around, particularly in the shady areas. There weren't many people. Most of the people tended to be out in the sunny areas. And throughout the park you'll find signs that tell you where you are and show you where you might want to be. And people are very nice about answering questions. Although this is one of the more crowded areas, which you can see is not really very crowded. And there's this is a big greenhouse at one end of the park, and it has trails running through it. Because this was spring, there was a lot of school children out and about. Quite nice inside. And this is that gate I showed you on the map where I exited the park. And about a block and a half away is the Shinjuku Dori Boulevard. After walking around in the park, I basically came in and walked the periphery, and then I walked around a bit in the park, took a lot of pictures, and then coming out, there's a major gate to get out, and I happened to find this little path right here that takes you right into this major thoroughfare, the Shinjuku Dori. But as you can tell, probably anywhere you went, you could come out straight and hit it. You can go this way. It's pretty difficult to get lost as long as you're heading east. At the time, this gate would have been interesting, I think, to take out and then to go up this way. But at the time, this gate was closed for repairs or renovations or something. So here we are in the boulevard. These are not my shots. I grabbed these off the internet. I was running low on batteries. So from these, you'd think that this would be really, really crowded, and I'm sure that on weekdays it is, but it's a financial business area.
So on a Saturday, it was actually quite quiet. There was a few shops open, but not a lot going on.
So just keep walking east on Shinjuku Dori. Eventually, you can't miss it practically. You're going to hit the presidential palace, and then it's going to be your choice which way to go. I went up. There's a little path that goes through here. This is, of course, is a major highway, elevated highway, but there's a path that goes right around here, sort of hugs the moat, basically. And then I continued down this way because I wanted to see this bridge right here, and I have take some pictures of that. And then I doubled back and then went to Tokyo Station, which, as you can see, is also quite a large station.
So after walking for, I would guess a mile, maybe at the most a mile and a half, on the big cavernous boulevard, you get to the Imperial Palace with the moat, and this is a little elevated area going around it. You don't actually see the Imperial Palace, of course. It's hidden in this huge park, but there's a few nice sights around it. You'll see some bridges. You see some obviously old stonework, which is quite nice, and the moat, and a few bridges where there are guards to keep you from going inside. And then this is all surrounded by more buildings. Tokyo is huge. There's a lot of nice buildings around there. Once you get around the entire park, you get into this big open area. And this is that last bridge down at the bottom that I pointed out on the map.
If you have the extra time, I'm sure it's worth walking south of the presidential palace. This is also quite an active area. There's the Imperial Garden Theater, a number of government buildings, the Ministry of Interior, Ministry of Foreign Affairs. As always, lots of banks, restaurants, Tokyo High Court, police department. So interesting area, I would imagine, to walk around in here also. Just for the fun of it, here's a Google Eye view of the area around Tokyo Station. This is the moat. There's a little bridge here. When we go down this way, this is the major boulevard then that takes you by some impressively tall buildings and then into Tokyo Station, which you can get a bird's eye view of all of the train lines going in there.
I was lucky enough to get to the Tokyo Station just after it had been renovated. The original building was built in 1914, and they've done quite a nice job. I'm just going to leave you here with those last few shots of the interior of. I hope you've enjoyed this little tour and have an opportunity to take it yourself someday. Thank you.